Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's weekly live immigration attorney chat here at Immigration for Couples. I'm attorney Megan Pastrana, and I'm really happy to be with all of you here. All right. Then I see we have a lot of people that are joining us live, so it's great to have you. I am streaming this live on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you have questions, throw them in the comments. I'll answer them in the order that I receive them. Also, we have a free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. So whether you're just starting out or in the middle of your immigration journey, in addition to hosting this weekly live chat, we also have a free resource center. We know that knowledge is power, and going through an immigration process, it can feel very daunting and overwhelming. And so that's why we have all these free resources for you, and why we've created this community here. If you're watching on the replay, please do a hashtag replay. Let me know, what are your most burning immigration questions. We do review those. For those of you who are here live, again, welcome. If this is your first time, welcome. We're super excited to have you in the community. If you are one of our regulars, it's so great to see you. Please throw in the comments, where are you at? I love to ask this question. Where are you at in the world? Where are you at in your immigration journey? And most importantly, how are you doing? All right. So I see everybody's coming in here, and I see the questions coming in. So that's fantastic. We'll go through those, like I said, in the order that I receive them. All right. And then just one other item that I wanted to make sure everyone is aware of. We typically host these weekly lives on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern time. It's a busy month here in December. I have a lot of clients that I'll be traveling to their interviews and the holidays and all of that good stuff. So our schedule is going to shift slightly. Some weeks I will be hosting this live on Mondays, others on Wednesdays. So we'll get off of our normal schedule for a couple of the weeks. But if you subscribe, so if you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. You'll be updated for when the next live events are. And then if you're on one of our other platforms, be sure to follow our Facebook page, like us, and then you'll be notified there as well with the updated times. All right. So let's see, where are you at in the world? Where are you at in your immigration journey? And most importantly, how are you doing? So Greg, you are in Canada. Welcome. It's great to have you. And you are just getting started. What a fantastic place for you to be. You're in a very supportive, uplifting community of individuals who are also going through this process. So we're here to help you have clarity and confidence in your journey. So thanks so much for being with us. All right. Monique, you're in Raleigh, North Carolina. And where are you at in your immigration journey, if you don't mind sharing? And how are you doing? Otherwise, Raleigh, North Carolina. Monique, it's great to have you with us. You're watching, Mark, from Madagascar. Fantastic. Ooh, okay, Marie, you're in Florida and you're waiting for your interview. No date set yet. There's quite a wait. Yeah, it's a wait, but you're getting closer. So that's good. All right. You're in Philadelphia. Great to have you with us, Joseph. Anna, you're in California and you're doing adjustment of status now. All right. Okay. Albuquerque, New Mexico. Glenn. Oh, do you have? Oh, cool. We have two Raleighs in the house. So that's awesome. Great to have you with us. Oh, Maria, we're so happy. You bring in your joy and positivity to all of our live sessions. So we're happy to have you here too. And yes, hi December and your Christmas spirit, and you're in Canada and waiting to go to the US to visit your fiance. That's fantastic. Great to have you here. All right. And so you have submitted your husband's I-130 in June of this year, and you're doing well. That's great. You're one day closer. Once you get that petition filed, I know waits are long, but thinking of it one day closer, 1 month closer, it's really important for your mindset. So congratulations on getting that filed. Whew, all right. We got a lot of people. That's awesome. I hope you're doing well too. Thanks for being with us. I see you're on LinkedIn. That's fantastic. All right, Terry, you're first in the queue. Usually you're one of the first ones in the queue with questions. I love that. It's great to see you here. All right. So you have a couple parts to your question. So let's go through that together here. So you checked your husband's status for the visa on the website. Usually we'll ask for a case number. Last week when I tried to check on it, it asked for more information. Now it asks for the case number, his passport, and the first four letters of his surname. It says invalid every time. Do you see this happening or know what the change is and why? Thank you. So make sure you're doing the IV case status check because there's a non-immigrant visa and an immigrant visa. So make sure you're on the right visa type. The sites look very similar, so sometimes that could be what's happening. And then yes, sometimes they will ask for more details when you're checking that case status as well. So yes, that's definitely common. If you're continuing to have that issue, immigration does have a lot of glitches. And if someone on immigration side maybe didn't put in some of the details correctly, if there's some kind of error, then you might not be able to check the status. If you continue having that issue, you can reach out, to immigration to make an inquiry and to let them know that you're having that issues and sending screenshots. Hopefully just check, like I said, if you're on the right site, if you're looking at the immigrant visa and not the non-immigrant visa. I know you've been waiting for a while, so I hope you get a decision on your case soon. I know the wait is hard. Okay, let's see. You received your approval notice for your fiance visa from USCIS in August, so that's fantastic. Congratulations. Then got word it didn't get to the National Visa Center until October 1st. Yes, that's pretty common wait is what we're seeing. And it's still listed as the NVC. Does it normally take this long? So Joseph, yes. And we actually had a couple people ask about this during our last live. And yes, it does take that long. It takes about 2 months for the case to transfer from USCIS to the National Visa Center, and then at least another 2 months for transfer to the embassy. And so basically what I had said during the last live is the National Visa Center's job is to give your case a case number. I know that's absurd that it takes 2 months to do that. Part of their job is also to ship a physical file, so your physical case file to the US Embassy or consulate. With all the technology we have, yes, they are still shipping physical files, and that does, of course, take time. So it is taking a solid 4 months, sometimes more, for that transfer process to happen for you to be able to schedule an interview. So yes, that's normal. And then on that same vein with Terry, your question about the case number, it looks like I assume, since I'm streaming this on 4 different platforms, I'm not sure if all the questions are if you are responding to Terry, but you're saying, yes, that happens to you too. You're having that issue as well with checking your case status on the National Visa Center website. I mean, I checked a case last night and it was fine, but things change like every 5 minutes in immigration. So if you all are having an issue, bummer. All right. Well, I'm sure that I'm going to be meeting with my legal team today. We meet daily to go over what's happening with cases and what's happening in immigration and making sure everything's on track and we're shifting and troubleshooting all of the things that are happening. So interesting that hopefully it's just a temporary glitch. I see those things happen all the time with the government websites. Like 1 minute it's not working and then the next it is. So keep trying, everyone, to check that case status. If that continues to be a perpetual issue, then I'm part of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and we always reach out. We always work with them to liaise with the government and let them know about issues. And of course, my team and I always reach out to immigration directly and say, hey, this is broken. Let's get it fixed. So hopefully, keep checking, everyone, and hopefully that'll get fixed. All right. Yes, you're very welcome. I'm glad that was helpful on your question about the case transfer. All right. Bond question. All right. So bonds, for those of you who are like, what is that even about? If someone is in the United States, if they have, violated immigration laws, if they've come without documents or they've overstayed a visa and that individual finds themselves in what's called immigration court for deportation proceedings, if that person is detained, when an individual is detained by immigration, there's a process by which that individual, their family, can pay something called a bond to secure the release. So you pay a bond, you pay an amount of money to immigration, sometimes several thousand dollars. It's usually quite an expensive cost to pay for the bond. And the idea is you You pay this bond to immigration to secure your release so you can be out of immigration detention and complete your immigration process. And once you complete the process to receive the green card, or if you depart the country, that bond money is returned to you. And so you're asking about what's going on with bonds right now. And the reason that you're asking that is because, unfortunately, this administration has taken the position that no one should be able to receive a bond. Essentially, that they've tried to end bonds, but that's not lawful. That's completely contrary to the law. A person is to be afforded, you're not guaranteed a bond, but you're to be afforded a bond hearing and an ability to show immigration why you're not a flight risk. So this administration has really tried to limit bonds and make them impossible to get. There have been a flurry of changes in this realm, in this area of immigration law. And I have a lot of colleagues, I've done a lot of trainings. There's something called a habeas petition. So when a bond is denied, there's another option to file a habeas petition to say, to make it in like the clearest, most layman terms without using legal jargon, is basically you're filing a lawsuit to say, hey, I want to have my rights reviewed, and I want to have this bond hearing. And eventually, individuals have been able to be released on something through something called a habeas petition. Basically, the answer to your question is bond available? Sort of. Yes. Is it more difficult to get? Yes. Are there more hoops to jump through? Yes. Is it an ever-evolving area of immigration? Yes. There are constantly, I'm getting emails every day from the American Immigration Lawyers Association with updates on case law and what's happening in the area of bonds. So it's an ever-evolving area. Are they still available? Like I said, yes, in limited circumstances, and there are definitely more hoops to jump through, and individuals are being detained for a longer period of time. So I hope that helps clarify or answer your question. It's that ever-evolving beast. All right. Good morning to you as well. All right. And that was very nice. Ria threw in our free resource center for everyone in the comments. The free resource center that we have on our website is really robust. And like I said, whether you're just starting out or in the middle of your immigration journey, we have tons of free resources. I even have a free chapter from my book. I don't have one sitting here next to me, but I have my book behind me there. And we have a free chapter from that book about proving your relationship to immigration. So I highly recommend checking that out. So, all right. And good morning to you as well, Anna. So good morning. Are the interviews still waived for adjustment of status, or all of the applicants having to go through an interview? And is it still a good idea to apply for citizenship? So lots of big questions here. So for the first question about interviews, yes. Yes, interviews are happening for everyone. No, they're not being waived. I have not had an interview waived in a case since February of this year, and my colleagues have reported the same. Really, whenever we're going through an adjustment of status process, this includes individuals who've entered on a fiancé visa, get married, and then you have to file the adjustment of status. Everybody is getting an interview. I've been representing clients all over the country at their interviews, from New York to California, Indiana to Texas. Waiting rooms are full, wait times are long. Immigration interviews are happening for everyone. Is it still a good idea to apply for citizenship? My position remains the same, is that citizenship is a really, really important next step, and something that you should consider if you consider the United States to be your home and plan to live here long term. Citizenship has tons of benefits. It allows you to be fully integrated into the United States. And it basically concludes your immigration process forever, because once you go through that citizenship process, you'll have a U.S. passport. You're a U.S. citizen. There's no future immigration steps. You're not having to prove anything to immigration any longer. You're not having to renew a green card. So having that finality, being done with immigration, is a really huge benefit. Being able to vote, being able to run for office, being able to apply for federal jobs. I mean, petitioning for friends and family. Goodness. Petitioning for family. So petitioning for family members, parents, siblings, being eligible for additional government benefits in the future at retirement. I mean, the list goes on. There's tons of benefits to citizenship. So my answer is applying for citizenship is a great idea. There's tons of benefits. And I understand with everything that's happening, unprecedented times, all of the policy changes, it's just a lot, and it's causing a lot of people to pause. There have always been situations in which applying for US citizenship for certain individuals can present risks. Some individuals unfortunately aren't eligible for citizenship, and so it's really important that you understand whether or not you're eligible. So the most common situation I see is that for individuals who've gone to the driver's branch to renew a driver's license, and during that process, they are registered to vote. You're not able to register to vote unless you're a US citizen. So there are, especially in California, I mean, it's happened in many states where they automatically register a person. And if you don't thoroughly review that application and you don't realize that, that can have serious implications for your ability to become a US citizen. In some cases, there are still options, but then in others, it can be considered what's called a false claim to citizenship, and you're just not eligible. So there are situations where applying for citizenship is risky and not advisable. But for those who have spoken with an expert and immigration attorney who know that they're eligible, who understand the path forward and their timeline and when they're able to file, and they've gone through that due diligence and ensured that, still applying for citizenship is a great idea. I would never say don't apply for citizenship just because the test has more questions and they're asking you to prove more, provide more evidence to prove your good moral character. So Anna, let me know, does that answer your question? I can't help myself. I always give probably even more information that's needed. But I think context and understanding of what those benefits are is very helpful. So Anna, let me know if that was helpful. All right. All right. Who is next in the queue? Oh, great. So you're Texas in the United Kingdom. You're doing well and here to learn from others' experiences and my helpful knowledge and information. Well, we're glad to have you here. All right, Betty. Great to have you. Betty Ann, you're BC, Canada. You're starting with you're preparing rather for your fiance visa interview on December 16th. Oh, that's super exciting. 14 days. The countdown is on. You're getting so close. Let us know how it goes. Hopefully you can give us a positive update in one of our next lives. Sending you tons of positive vibes for a great interview. All right, going through here. Okay. Sorry, there's just so many questions. Here we go. All right. So, and so many comments. I want to make sure I didn't pull up ones that I'd already pulled up. All right, Lisa. Great to have you. Yes, lots joining on Facebook today. Yeah, we have lots of people joining the live. I know there's a lot going on in the world of immigration right now. So I'm glad that everyone's coming here for support. So great. And Maria with your heart. I love it. All right. So you're visiting your wife in Madagascar and you have a question. Do we need to register our marriage with the US Embassy here? So when you get married, where I don't know where you got married. I don't know if you had gotten married in Madagascar or another country or even the United States, but that marriage has to be legally binding where the marriage occurs. So you have to follow whatever the requirements are for where you were married. There's no requirement that you register it with the US Embassy or consulate. You do that through the immigration process. And it's not really registering, you're filing a petition to prove your marriage. There are some countries, though, Philippines is the one that comes top of mind, that no matter where you get married in the world, you need to register that marriage in the Philippines because you'll have to get something called a CMAR before your interview, a certificate of marriage. So you need to pay attention to, one, where you got married, what are the rules, make sure you're in compliance and completed all of that, all of those steps, if there's a registration requirement, to make sure your marriage is legally binding. Yeah, okay. So, yes, so you heard that the I-601 waiver process is speeding up, and that the latest update is 29.5 months, and that you were seeing a reduction in time. Yes, the provisional waiver wait times, they just kept going up, up, up. And really for the 601, the other type of waiver, those wait times were very high as well. And recently we have seen decisions a little bit faster. I mean, still 29.5 months is a long wait, but much better than 48. So immigration wait times, they go through a roller coaster. They go up, but they go down. But yes, you're right. They have gone down a bit, which is promising. We just need everything, all cases, wait times to go down a lot because they're just very long. All right. Okay. So we get this question almost every live of, hey, we completed our NVC process for the spouse visa. We submitted everything. We're documentarily qualified on X date. So you were documentarily qualified in August, and that you're waiting for your interview. Do I have an idea of when you will get your interview? So there's a great tool. I have Rhea post a video on almost every live event because I get this question, but there is a tool, an estimator for NVC scheduling estimator that will show you, hey, right now we're scheduling interviews for individuals who are documentarily qualified in July of 2025, for example. So you'll know that you're getting closer. So you have an idea. So that tool has been fantastic. It was released this year. It was long awaited. Because I had, we would have all of our clients and we would be able to have a good finger on the pulse of wait times. But now this helps shed even more light for everyone. So Rhea will post that in the comments. She'll find that video. She's already on it. She read my mind. She's got it posted there in YouTube. Looks like you're on LinkedIn, but hopefully, yeah, I think it should still come up there for you on LinkedIn. If not, it's on our Facebook page as well, and on our YouTube channel, that video. All right. Okay. Okay. And so I think some of you, and Saud, I think you asked your question more than once. So if everybody can just, I know I'm trying to get through as many questions as I can. Please, please, please. It helps me a ton if you can, if just ask your question one time, because my comment section is flooded from four different four different social media sites, from Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Instagram. I do my very best to get through as many questions as possible, and it helps me a ton if you just ask your question one time. All right. You're wanting to know if I handle removal proceedings, so deportation defense. No, my firm, we're focused exclusively in the world of family-based applications with USCIS and U.S. embassies and consulates. So I do not handle removal proceedings. I do for clients that need that support in conjunction with their application. I partner with colleagues who don't do my work, but handle litigation, so we can work in concert to be able to represent individuals who need representation on both sides. All right, you're very welcome. I'm glad that was helpful for your earlier question. All right, so you're still going through a divorce in Canada and you're looking to find out when and how to start applying for the visa. Does the divorce have to be 100% complete before we can begin the process, or can they both be underway at the same time? I just recently recorded a video on this. It'll be released in the next week or so, but the answer is you have to wait for the divorce decree for it to be completed and concluded before you can file. I've had individuals that have been in a very prolonged divorce process. The divorce has been ongoing for a very long time, and they wanted to be proactive and get started with the petition, whether it's a fiance or a spouse visa petition. And we would work on having that all ready, collecting evidence, getting the application ready, making sure it's solid. And then once that divorce is final, then we were able to have everything ready to move forward as quickly as possible, recognizing that one of the hurdles in that case is, in a situation like this rather, is always going to be the optics of a recent divorce and then a petition filed shortly after, and just making sure that you have solid evidence to explain that. And oftentimes, if it's a prolonged divorce, that's how we're able to help immigration understand. But again, you have to be fully divorced to be able to file anything with immigration. Okay, well this is good. So you received adjustment of status, and your green card will expire in 2026. What's the best time to apply for renewal? Also, you might want to consider U.S. citizenship. You need to make sure you're eligible first, but checking that out is as well. is something that you might want to consider. Renewing your green card, typically about 6 months before is a good time to renew it. So that's when you should look at getting started, but also definitely check out citizenship. Oh, that's awesome. So you're in New York City. Your husband got his 10-year green card the week before Thanksgiving. So you have a lot to be grateful for. 90 days from filing to approval. So you're very relieved and grateful. That's a really fantastic timeline for adjustment of status. We've definitely seen things speed up for that process specifically. So great. What a relief. Congratulations. We're really happy for you. Okay. Yeah, Daniel. Okay. So have I seen cases of lawful permanent residents in good standing being detained by CBP or ICE? There are endless news stories of supposed unlawful detentions, which gives us anxiety. But if you do digging, there's usually some reason for that detention, like a prior overstay, criminal history, things like that. Um, yeah, and this is in the context of upcoming travel to a restricted country. Yeah. Um, so I have not had anyone that I personally know and no clients that have been in this situation. Thank goodness. I am a part of the American Immigration Lawyer Association, and they are always collecting data and information and wanting to understand what's happening on the ground so we can best advocate for our immigrant clients. And there are definitely situations where unlawful detentions have occurred without some kind of aggravating factor in the past, unfortunately. There have been situations too of U.S. citizens being detained, and it was a matter of racial profiling. It's really unnerving, and it's really disappointing that that's occurring. In large part, though, most individuals are able to travel, and most green card holders are not having issues. But there are situations that it's occurring, and you're right. Your feelings are valid. Having anxiety about it is definitely valid. Understanding what I tell all of my clients is things like this are happening. Unfortunately, we're in unprecedented times. In most of the situations, Daniel, you're entirely right. Definitely, I always, as an attorney, when I see stories like that, do some digging and understand, was there some kind of prior removal order? There's some kind of prior aggravating factor. There's to see if that was a situation where a detention or detainment would have occurred, regardless of what was going on with politics and the administration. And oftentimes there is, but there have definitely been situations where there weren't those aggravating factors, and it was an unlawful detention, and there are lawsuits against the administration for those unlawful detentions. But living our lives in fear is not a place to be, and I don't want my clients to be in that situation. And so what I always say is be aware, be educated. You're doing that. You're doing digging. You're being proactive. You have that upcoming trip, and understanding your rights. So being aware and then advocating for change in any way that you can, reaching out to representatives, making others in your life aware, and then knowing your rights. So when you're traveling and you're coming back to the United States, knowing your rights of if that agent is questioning you and trying to get you to sign a document, I always tell my clients respectfully refuse to sign any documents. That immigration agent, when you're coming back into the country, they can't take away your green card, but if they intimidate a person into signing a form for that's called an abandonment of your green card, that would be a big problem if you sign that. So know your rights and respectfully decline to sign. Be confident whenever you're dealing with immigration. You've done nothing wrong. Be confident in your responses. Be concise in your responses. Only answer, the questions that they're asking. If they start intimidating you, like I said, say refusing to sign the form unless your attorney is able to review it, asking to be referred to an immigration judge if they think there's an issue with your case, and then having if you're traveling together, that's ideal. So if something were to happen, you can immediately, if the worst case scenario were to come to pass, that you can contact an immigration attorney immediately. If couples are traveling separately, having phone numbers memorized, because they typically take away phones, and then asking to exercise your right to make a phone call to a loved one who can then contact an immigration attorney to get you out of detention as soon as possible. I say all of this not to scare you, not to say that this is going to happen, but if you're traveling and you want to be extremely prepared and proactive, just knowing that and knowing those rights will help a ton in giving you peace of mind. We've not had any clients that's happened to. There are definitely reports. So just being prepared and educated. I hope that helps answer your question, Daniel. All right. Okay. You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. My team and I love our work in the world. So you're wanting to know if your spouse can travel internationally alone immediately after receiving the green card, or should you be traveling with her? As a green card holder, you're able to travel internationally. You're able to depart the United States for trips abroad. You cannot take trips more than 6 months. And there are some situations where traveling on a green card can be more risky than others. There's no requirement that you have to travel together. Right now, I have a lot of couples that their preference is to remain traveling together just for peace of mind, but it's not a legal requirement. Hmm. And I'm so grateful to hear that. That's good. I'm glad that was helpful, that it's alleviating some of your stress. And I love your photo, the Christmas photo. That's fantastic. All right. So, Maria, you're wanting to know, has the fiance visa interview changed? Is it still 2 sessions? First, check documents, and then second, the actual verbal questioning of the beneficiary. Can be done in one day or need to come back the next day? Just wondering. All right, great question. So, in large part, what we're seeing at most US embassies and consulates is that you have a bifurcated interview, which is basically you have a two-part interview. And it's worked really well. We've actually found this to be a really great process, better than previously. I know having to go for 2 days is not ideal, but they do that document check the first day, and that's fantastic because sometimes if there's some random document that's not on their standard list that the officer happens to want to see in your case, that they can have you bring it to the interview where they're actually questioning you at the second day. So yes, in large part, it's going to be 2 days. Typically, it's not done in a single day because the first day you have a different staff member who's really just reviewing documents and making sure everything is in compliance with their list and making everything and it's served up on a nice platter for the immigration officer for the next day. And then you'll go for the questioning. There are still some embassies and consulates that do a single day interview, but we've seen a lot of embassies moving toward a 2 day system. So I hope that helps answer your question, Maria. All right. Hmm. Yeah, you keep checking and it's still saying, so yeah, reaching out, like I said, reaching out to immigration, sometimes a wait and see if it's better the next day. I'm going to look into that with my team here today and see if we are also experiencing that issue, but um, hopefully they get that fixed soon. And yeah, Betty, you're exactly right. Thank you for mentioning that. Montreal is still a 1 day. There has been talk that they are going to go to a 2 day, but that has not happened yet. So yes, great example. Montreal is one where it's a 1 day. Our clients that are processing in London or Abu Dhabi or Mexico, um, Spain, there's a lot that there are 2 days, and then some of them they have you go right after your medical exam and drop off documents, and then you'll have a 1 day interview. So yes, it is going to be largely consular dependent. Yes, so thank you for saying that. Yes, Christmas vibes, cheery up. Yes, I decorated early. The Christmas decorations and all of that definitely helps. You're very welcome. And again, thanks Betty for jumping in there with that. That was very helpful. See, it's such a nice community. It's very helpful, right? To know that you're not alone. All right. Yes. So there have been a lot. Yes, there's been so many announcements, policy changes, etc. So yes, what happened is that the Trump administration has mentioned wanting to permanently pause immigration from third world countries. Do I think this will affect places like Kenya? Right now, when that announcement came out, they linked to the June travel ban. Frankly, we're still waiting on more guidance. Right now, the biggest impact is the continuation of the travel bans that were in place in June. And then also, there have been an announcement from USCIS that they're reviewing applications for individuals from Afghanistan specifically. There's over 200,000 applications that they're going to be re-reviewing. So right now that is about all we know in terms of the actions that are being formally taken. Otherwise, there have been no official government announcements in terms of an announcement from USCIS or the Department of State to indicate what does that comment mean. So right now, cases are processing normally. If you're already in one of the travel ban countries, those pauses were already initiated, but there is an exception for spouse visa cases. So I couldn't guess what countries are on the list. They have not said. I would assume, given that they link to the travel ban countries, that it's probably going to be focused on that list, but we will keep you updated. Things change on an almost daily basis. So definitely we'll keep you updated when we have more information from immigration. Okay, so Joshua, I hope you're still here with me. I know you've asked this before, and I don't know if you heard my answer last time, but the work permit, if a green card is approved, you don't need a work permit because the green card is your work permit. So what's typically going to happen is you're going to receive a denial of that work permit, and that's not a bad thing. It's because you don't need it anymore. So you're not going to get the work permit if you have a green card. All right, well, congratulations, and congratulations again on your green card being approved. All right. Yes, it is nice to hear about Montreal. That is nice. Again, they have been talking about shifting that, but right now it is just that one day. So that's helpful. All right. Is what Lisa, you might have another part to your question. Is that for AOS or spouse visa? I'm not sure. Let me see if you had another part. Sorry, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Which question? So I think maybe you're asking about. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, and Joshua, it's okay. That's why I said I don't know if you were here for it last time. So I just wanted to make sure. Thank you for letting me know that you heard it this time. So that's good. I'm glad. I just want to make sure you had peace of mind. The 2-day interview. Okay. So yes, it's for spouse visas. So adjustment of status happens in the United States. That's an interview in the US where the couple attends. And then for the spouse visa, that interview is abroad. And so that's what Maria was asking about for fiance and spouse visa interviews. Is it 1 or 2 day? And so it depends on the interview location. Like I said, for our clients who process specifically through London, they'll essentially have a 2-day interview. They go to their medical exam, and then that same day they go and do a document drop off. So it's not a set interview day. And then they'll go for an interview separate from that. But like Montreal, Canada, like Betty was saying, she's exactly right. They just do the 1 day. So, and things are always changing in immigration. So that's what it is right now. Phew. All right. We've done a lot here. Gone through a lot of questions. I do need to jet. I usually do a half hour. I stayed a little longer to try to get through as many questions as I possibly could here today. It's been really lovely being with all of you. I hope you're taking care of yourselves. Please hang in there. Don't lose hope. Yes, you're very welcome. Don't lose hope. I know that things have been hard. I know there's been lots of policy changes. I know there's a lot in the news, but we're going to get through. Everybody's going to get through their process. So just lean on this community. Be sure to follow, subscribe, and then you'll be notified for our upcoming lives. We'll have them every week except for the week of December 22nd. You're very, very welcome. All right, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, everyone.